Alright, we're back, guys. Thanks for watching that break. So we're in the lobby for the finals. It's starting off on Odyssey. Oh, there we go. I thought we had to wait a little bit more, but looks like we're ready to go. It's a PvP with MaNa versus HellraiseR. This is awesome. It is absolutely underdog versus well-known player. And better yet, it's a PvP, so there's no balance complaints here.
Hey. Well, we don't know a lot about HellraiseR. We know that he played a very solid PvT. Good thing before that, but what is his PvP like?
And of course, it's a best of 5, not a best of 3, so gotta win a couple more games to actually lock this down. $60 to first place, $20 in second. That's what they're fighting over here for, of course, also points leading to the season finals, which has a much bigger prize pool of $400. But spawning here in the lower right, we've got the blue Protoss player. It's HellraiseR.
In the top left, as the red Protoss, it is Liquid MaNa.
And I gotta be back just one second.
Alrighty then. So yeah, HellraiseR. Gotten this far, already a good storyline, but MaNa, he doesn't play at every single tournament, and when he does, sometimes looks a bit shaky. But today looks very strong, as I think it's been the case every, the last couple times he showed up. More impressed with how he plays every time. And usually very good at PvP, too. I don't know about HellraiseR. I just don't know much about him. Didn't really show, cheesy tendencies in the other matchups. In fact, it was the macro games that ended up winning, although he did throw in a cheese curveball every now and then. That's certainly where PvP can play. But it is such a different matchup that even though, I guess Hero, is cheesing all races, right? Like, you can definitely tell something from that guy. PvP can be quite the curveball in and of itself. You can see both players opening up about the standards you can get with PvP. 2 gateways, just 2 gateways. It's a best of 5, so we will probably see Stargate, 1 base or proxied, or maybe even a 1 gateway expand. There are a variety of build orders. MaNa is going to bother scouting with a probe, whereas HellraiseR only just now doing so. Okay, just a little bit late to the party. Sometimes these probes want to live.
Okay, horrible. Sorry, I thought I put the camera on you. I didn't. I'm back.
Oh, well, anyways, they want to live not just because they want to live, but also because they sometimes come back for a vengeance, put down proxy pylons that warp in stalkers, or just get a secondary scout too, because it's they're pesky.
Dismantled.
Yeah, he would have really loved to see if there was a Stargate or a Nexus, but was denied scouting on both. And HellraiseR, well, HellraiseR's probe didn't even go to try and scout. Sometimes you can get the natural scout, just, duck into the Nexus and get out, but he is scouting for proxy, I guess. I thought he was going to do one of his own, but then he... It would have been a pretty late, hidden, tech structure, so I guess that makes sense.
Well, you mentioned the variety of builds moments ago, because I did at least have my headphones on. And what I'm really curious about, though, is who's more favorable towards the Stargate tech, I think. I am really... It's clear to me that, through wins, it's usually the ground forces. We don't really have a lot of these Phoenix vs. Phoenix games that once used to take the reins of HOTS. But the fact that game 1 opens up with HellraiseR, I want to know if he sticks to this or not. I'm a big fan of the Stargate play. I've been loving the Void Rays, even with their nerf, but... Ultimately, more wins are coming out of the ground.
Oh, we got a new sub? Beowulf? Beowulf. Better than Beowulf. Beowulf. Ah, nailed it. Nailed it.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
This is kind of neat.
Yeah?
Hang on. MaNa, I guess MaNa suggested to Dare as an alternate way to do vetoes for the Corsair Cup.
Okay. Don't do vetoes, so...
Well, okay, so I see what he's trying to do here. Let me know your thoughts on this, though, and we'll get chat's thoughts, too. I'm personally not a fan of the idea, but I think it's actually a cool idea. So MaNa brought up an idea for how to do veto in the Corsair Cup. He mentioned along with the first map pre-picked, winners should get to veto 1 map, and losers still pick next map. I only don't like this idea, only because I love the idea of losers pick being a way to bring back the series, and thus give better chances for 2 1s and 3 2s, and not a bunch of 2 0s, right?
Yeah.
But the other way would give more reward to somebody who's winning, which is also cool, and I can respect that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind if it was put in, but one of the... this might sound like a cop-out, or I don't know what it'll sound like, but it's like, it's not just that losers pick into the advantage. It's also just that it is easier to get the tournament going.
That's true. You don't waste a lot of time arguing over the veto versus the pick.
Getting them to communicate with each other, you have to communicate to the admin, like, it's... Plus, I feel like just by you add in a veto, and now it's even less likely someone will actually choose Bloodboil or Defender's Landing.
Yeah.
Already.
Anyways,
The maps that never are.
Let us know what you guys think in chat. We'll get back to this in a minute. We do have an attack. Here's MaNa, completely revealed. Still decides to go for the attack.
Yeah. Well, he does have much faster blink. He knows there was an Oracle, so there's no way that HellraiseR has.
Yeah, he knows Blink's on his side, but is that enough to beat out like 4 more overcharges? This Mothership Core doesn't even have to spam them all at once. So if he had some sort of vision to hop up to the high ground, maybe that looks different, but not going to be the case. He does pick off a Stalker, almost loses one of his own. He's getting really risky for this. He really wants blood on that sentry.
Yeah, he really did. Really did. I mean, it's a bit of a scary situation for HellraiseR, I guess, because he knows that they are. This is actually an attack now. This is him warping in from a slow proxy pylon and trying to do something. So you know that there's the blood plus. Like, he wants to do damage, but it's also not scary because there are so many overcharges. Because there's now a second immortal, and eventually HellraiseR will just be able to push past here. But MaNa, he's getting advantages, not just by killing units and blinking back, but by a much faster third, and already on his way to additional tech. Plus, to start all this off, that Oracle really didn't do a lot of damage. Not quite worth the Stargate investment, even with the Revelation and the Stalkers. Well, MaNa would be down in the immortal counts, but with the entire map still having to be, walked across for HellraiseR, I think that it wouldn't matter. There would be enough time. Plus, MaNa's not going to charge, making those immortals less effective as his army grows in zealot numbers.
Yeah, actually, I'm still not used to charge lot being such a big part. Like, it's still good. Zealots are great. They beat out Stalkers. Everyone does that correctly, but it's just, I don't know. I'm still not used to them being part of the matchup yet.
Well, that was super awkward. Lost a Stalker. Yeah,
when it's charge lot Archon, it makes a lot more sense. But it's just like Blink Stalkers into charge lot. It just feels weird, man.
Well, he's eventually adding on the Templar Archive, so we have their dispose of tech, tier 3 tech. Robotics Bay for HellraiseR, Templar Archives for MaNa. MaNa with a much faster third, though. I mean, I feel like, about 11 more probes. Should have that production to just overwhelm with Zealots. It is important to note that he's going to be down 2 whole upgrades in this upcoming fight. 2-0. And he just invested into double Stargate, probably preempting the Disruptors, right? But that might be too soon. Like, he needs to survive against this push first.
Oh boy. Yeah, 19 Stalkers is a scary as hell number. But the Immortals, ideally, if they've been protected better, may have been able to hold this. Not going to be the case, though. HellraiseR's Immortals are not doing too much to take on the Stalker count, but the Stalker count is doing a lot to take on the Immortals.
It's funny, though, because they did just take on 4 Immortals, so of course a lot of Stalkers also went down.
Yeah, the army supply evens up, but even for even army supply, level 2 upgrades win out. Well, type will win out.
Well, yeah, MaNa just needs a lot more Zealots. I think that Zealots would overwhelm, even without the upgrades, but you just need to put low on them now.
Missed opportunity, too. Those Adepts could have already been in this mineral line, killing probes till this went on. At least forcing HellraiseR to look elsewhere, and then maybe that fight doesn't go so easily for him. And that did not win the game, but it went not badly taking out the Immortals the way he did.
It's okay. You know, he's probably thinking, like, well, I have Disruptors, and I just took out your Robotech, so maybe you want to rebuild that. I don't know. I don't know if he's thinking about Archons. I don't think he saw the High Templars being warped in, but it doesn't matter, because it's not really about High Templars and Archons or Charge. It's about these Phoenixes that are going to just take the Disruptors out of the equation. And HellraiseR has not scouted that transition yet. He actually has no idea how MaNa's playing into the later stage of this game.
Well, I I didn't expect HellraiseR to even stand, like, if just to not be mean but real, I didn't expect HellraiseR to even stand up to MaNa. The fact that this game's even looked like what it does 10 minutes in, really impressed with this guy, Zombie Grub. I don't know what he ate his Wheaties this morning or something, but I'm glad he did.
Yeah. He is staying pretty close neck to neck with MaNa, but I think MaNa has gotten some important advantages. Potentially game ending, as we'll see how the actual fight goes down. MaNa moving out. HellraiseR moving out.
By the way, on my last point too, before the fight begins, people in chat are asking like, who the hell is he? Has he gotten this far before? And the answer is no. First time we've ever seen HellraiseR make top 4, much less top 2. Oh, the Zealots would have had such a devastating shot, but the Phoenix picking up those disruptors is huge. MaNa is going to dominate this fight because HellraiseR was relying so heavily on the Immortals, on the disruptors, and they've all been removed from the equation.
Well,
GG.
The predictions have come true.
It's funny though, because I talked about the Stargate play with HellraiseR's opening, not really at all thinking about the late game dynamic where you have them pick up disruptors and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see MaNa go down that path, I suppose.
HellraiseR quick to the next map choice.
Yeah. Regardless of like what we discussed as like potentially cool experimental ways to do vetoes or whatever, I mean, I'm leaning towards not changing it, just keeping it as is. It is just worth noting that this is still all just normal. This is standard vetoes, standard map pick, or no, not even veto. It's just standard losers pick.
Yeah, losers pick.
I gotta say though, like, I don't know when they're looking to change up the next season, because like they've got all these Valencias and WCSs and everything so close to each other than Montreal. I don't know when the next season is, but man, I'm telling you right now, if the maps are just as bad next season as this season, we're gonna do our own maps. Like, I have really not enjoyed a lot of the maps this season.
I don't know, I've been pretty indifferent to a lot of them. I don't like how big of Ascension, like how big all of them are, I guess, because we have Ascension, Odyssey, Sequencer, Proxima. There's a lot of big maps, but I'm not like totally angry at them. I think the new season would have to be in August. That's the 1 month nothing is happening. Well, technically GSL versus the world, but that's the beginning of August.
Yeah, but then you get like so close to BlizzCon, you're like, is that too soon, too late? Like, well, I guess it's not so close. I always, you know what? No, you're right. I always mix up August and October.
Really?
August after July.
Today I learned. Yeah, I think that's got to be the month, because then September is Montreal.
Yeah, because I was thinking if it was where October is, that's way too late.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Anyways, game number 2 in this best of 5. Let me fix the overlay. Up 1-0. Spawning in the upper right, we got, of course, the red Protoss, MaNa.
In the bottom left, as the blue Protoss, he is HellraiseR. And his Proxima station, so I just love how much, like, this is not a very ordinary map, so that's all well and good that there be an ordinary opener on the map, but there's other pretty, safe, ordinary maps. It's not as clearly defined when it comes to the first 2 minutes of the game as Proxima Station is. I'm talking about the probe scout immediately, a second probe going out for both of them, and both of them walling off their main ramps. There isn't much difference from other Protoss players, to be honest. Maybe they don't send a second probe, but the rest of it's just as expected. That is the trick, though. Whether you send a second probe or just use the first scouting one, the point is they're both going to be on the outside of the wall because you're going to be denied entrance, and they might throw down proxies, hidden tech, whatever. If you brought a second probe to the front of the wall and attacked the pylon with this probe too, it would kill the pylon in time.
Yeah, it always comes down to just very barely. Actually, who's winning the race right now? Oh, MaNa. He's like 30 health above on the pylon.
Oh, yeah. And he is throwing down his proxy a lot faster, too. MaNa already with a pylon down there. I don't think it's that important, but I'm just saying.
No, it's just...
they both are proxying.
It's like the same thing, but one's a little bit faster, one's going to get there first, one's going to draw the other's attention away. Like, it actually does kind of matter. It's not the biggest deal right now, obviously, but could be once the actual fight comes down. The harass begins.
Stargate versus Twilight Council. Who wins?
Oh, and well, Zealot versus Stalker too, huh? Interesting choice here.
I guess because Hellraiser's gonna need
It's on the wrong side of
money
the wall.
and gas more.
It's on the wrong side of the wall. Okay, so MaNa's actually gonna get a pylon kill, and this may supply block Hellraiser because of one missed rallied click there.
This is also kind of important because I think it's also going to tell MaNa that there is no Mothership Core on the way. Whereas maybe for Hellraiser it's a little more.
Oh my god, that depowers the Cyber Core! We're talking about things being late. Warp Gate's gonna be later now too. Dark Shrine. Oh man. I mean, kudos to Hellraiser for the attempt here at tactics, but everything's scouted. MaNa now there's a proxy. Like he can guess, but either way, his Oracle will cover him against both.
And the thing is, the Oracle just gets here faster. I think the Oracle just wins in most scenarios because there's also the wall they have to break down. So like you'd be able to build a second Oracle and come back home. I think this is actually just legitimate better proxy. You
could just ignore the Stalker damage. It's one Stalker worth of damage.
Oh man, that's so funny.
So much of this went so wrong for Hellraiser having the Zealot on the wrong side, but I mean ultimately I think build type just favors MaNa. GG. Oh! Yikes! Okay, mistakes happen, but you know what? Maybe he's got them nerves. Maybe he's in these finals and he's really excited and starts beating. Who knows? But either way, gotta give some love to some subs. Biomorph, which I think you got earlier, but then Lupa, my man Lupa, 34 months says, hello everyone. Hope you're doing all well. Happy birthday, Rifkin, you adorable bear man. I love you, Jess. XX, stay sexy, San Diego.
Thank
you. You like turn that into Anchorman at the end, I guess?
Yeah, I guess so.
Alright guys, quick commercial break. We'll get to game number 3 when we get back. Thank you for watching this week's Corsair Cup. It's not over yet. We'll be back soon. Alright folks, we're back and waiting on the players. To kind of a little bit of post-game discussion on that game.
Yeah, I kind of want to see where MaNa's going with this.
I don't feel like a player after that Zealot episode. There, you poor Ukrainian soul.
Once in wall, MaNa made a DT rush and was ready to warp in, and then realized the warp gate never started.
Yikes. Yikes.
This is like Fear Dragon. He had like this huge, like, he was like so excited for a 1-base CT build. He didn't make any units, so 6 Lings got in and killed him. The caster tournament. Okay.
Alright, a couple things here real quick. We are, of course, in the Corsair Cup Grand Finals. I thought we'd have a little bit more time to talk about it, but since this may be the last game, I need to once again remind you to check out our sponsor links down below. If you click on any of the Corsair Gear, even if you're not going to buy anything, but you're just checking out the store, it helps us out a ton. But also, if you want to buy stuff, we do get a percentage of your purchase and some bonus points with Corsair, so consider buying things through the affiliate links below. And if something you see down below isn't what you want, you can still navigate over, click on one of those links, and then go find the RAM section, or the water cooling section, or the tower section, or whatever floats your boat. Twitch is also a big supporter of this tournament. They give us the money to make a monthly finals each month, so if you guys want to help us out, cheer with bits, sub to the channel, all these things, we absolutely love it, and we'll love you for it. But man, Lupa duped everybody. People wish me happy birthday in chat. Yesterday was the birthday stream, guys. We did 2 streams and some co-op, big birthday times. It was a lot of fun. There's some really dumb clips of me setting off the fire alarm in my apartment, eating cake with no hands. Good times. You can check them out on the clips section. But now, all that mouthful out of the way, game number 3 kicks off, and it might be the last one for this guy. He's on his last life here in the finals. It's HellraiseR.
In the bottom right says the red Protoss. He is Liquid MaNa.
Funny enough, both kind of mirroring each other again without realizing it.
Yeah. I mean, last game is such an extreme example. The Zealot on the wrong side, the pylon going down, the fact that they both had like the second probe sent out to do different types of proxies. Very unlikely to happen on any of the rest of the remaining maps. Especially Abyssal. Just good old 2-gate versus 2-gate. Oh man, I can't believe that DreamHack Valencia is already like.
It's is it this weekend, right, or something like that?
Yeah, it starts in like 2 days.
3
days. But that's crazy. There's been so many WCSs, so much to do those last 2 months, so much casting that we've been doing.
Well, I don't think it's been like announced or anything, but we'll be doing some casting for Valencia. It might not be on the main stage or in person, but we'll be doing a little bit of casting for Valencia, so you guys can look forward to some English group coverage over here.
Cool. Valencia is once again a 4-day event though, so I wonder how that's going to be split up.
Yeah, they've been kind of mixing this up. I guess every tournament, I'm just so used to things being done on, like, say, the Sunday, and then was it the last one? Jönköping had like the finals on a Monday.
Something like that, yeah.
If
Yeah. So you're right.
The thing is, 4 days is incredibly expensive compared to 3 days. Like, for you guys to understand, these venues that they're renting out, like a small venue, something to do like just one event, like StarCraft or something, that would be like $10,000 a day, right? So these big ones you can extrapolate, and you're like, wow, the hundreds of thousands of dollars being spent on venue rental costs to add on one extra day is like monumental.
Yeah.
So to see 4 days is impressive because it means there's that extra money for it.
I guess the good news is that since so many, like, DreamHack is like huge now, right? So I think back in like 3 years ago, you're actually renting partial venues to cut costs. They're just like, we have the entire venue for the entire week.
Yeah.
Because there's so many games. Because there's so much stuff. So
But
whatever.
I love that BlizzCon, they don't even, like, they just pull all the stops. They're like, okay, this entire building is ours now for a day. Like,
Yeah,
TwitchCon, they reserved half of a building when they did TwitchCon last year. Twitch has got that crazy money. Blizzard's like, nah, the entire Anaheim Convention Center. Oh, you know what, guys? We're actually going to get another hall, so ticket sales on July 5th. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's also crazy. MaNa applying some pressure. It has not been scouted, and it is a proxy gateway, so that is some pretty fast warp-ins.
Yeah.
Really surprised, but pops overcharge very fast.
He focuses it down, too, instead of the stalkers. Then decides to swap his attention afterwards. That's a lot of wasted damage on the pylon, so to speak, and that cost him a bit there. But round 2's coming in. Maybe with that pylon being half health, he'll be able to finally finish it off. But man, eating the stalker fire in lieu of the pylon, it's wasted shots.
I don't know how the 2 adepts died so quickly, too. I thought only 1 died to the Voten overcharge.
Let's see. It's pretty just good, period. Like,
I guess so. I guess I just was... Yeah, so... It's unfortunate. So, however they died, the point is 3 adepts died. That was at least supposed to get into the main and pull some units back, or just get like 4 probe kills to make this really worth it if the attack itself didn't work. Not letting that happen, HellraiseR has given himself quite the lead in this game, up 7 workers.
Yeah, I mean, for MaNa to have done this in the first place, you could tell he just wanted to close out the series, right? Like, it's a bit of a risky move, but you're up 2-0. Try and finish it off. 3 pylons down, all these stalkers set up, and his probe lead. I'm feeling very good for HellraiseR. Oh, but this might change it up. All the defense on the front line might ignore these 2 adepts going to the main. Oh, there's an immortal, though. Okay, that was a sick deny.
Oh, boy. It sucks, but it's already so telling how this game is going to go, I think. These harsh supplies. MaNa's just gonna try and play a macro game. Perhaps HellraiseR's a little too defensive, a little too scared. Nerves still kicking in. MaNa decides to go for Blink, changes his mind, goes for his Englaves.
Well, Void Ray comes out of HellraiseR, which I find really interesting. I guess he's assuming there's more stalkers on the way, but we know, of course, MaNa pulled back.
That's kind of why I mentioned the 2 defensive thing. Now, this could be offensive, don't get me wrong. Like, you have Immortals, you have Void Rays, and you just all like... You have a counter army right there, but...
Side of the Void Ray painted on the side. It's like, there are only 2 genders. Man, that's a really offensive Void Ray.
But now he takes a 3rd base, so I imagine he'll just be staying home with his composition.
Oh, he's actually investing in air weapons upgrades. This is more than just defensive, for sure, then.
Oh.
The Immortals and the Void Rays, and most importantly, the +1 weapons on those Void Rays. Man, MaNa's going to have a hell of a time holding it home.
It was already pretty questionable if he had gone for Blink. Now without Blink, I don't know how he takes out an army. Because he's not going to be attacking anytime soon. If he attacks right now, he could actually win the game. The hell with the Void Rays. He'll barely be able to break those. Okay, whatever. But if he waits 2 minutes, double Void Ray production, he's going to have as many stalkers as he has right now, which is 5. And then up against like 6 Void Rays. Like, that ain't going to work. Okay, maybe 4 Void Rays. He's moving out right now. But still, I don't know. This has got to be that time. I think this is the one time that MaNa has. That he's going to be able to win against someone going in a mass Void Ray.
There's also something we really need to remind everybody of before we get into the fight here, because Void Rays are slower when prismatically aligned now, and very easy to walk away from. Like, they're like queens off of creep slow when they're in supercharge mode. So there's a moment here where, like, maybe HellraiseR uses all the cooldowns, and MaNa can actually just disengage from the fight. But once he's locked in there, those Void Rays are going to kill anything they get their hands on.
That is a good point, because they're also going to maybe be chasing a lot of Adepts, and obviously they can't do that when they're slow.
Yes,
they
actually,
can't do that.
I really like this 3 Adept segment from MaNa, then. That's huge.
So MaNa has no idea that it was mass, there's going to be a lot more Void Rays. So he is going to be warping in nothing but Adepts, and that's where I was really concerned, that like this army just simply won't be able to kill whatever HellraiseR has, even just a lot of economic damage.
He's going to scout this, though. This is his opportunity to not engage if he wants to, but I just don't feel his anti-air is adequate. He chooses to go in.
It's the only time he can. Like, he can't warp in, more Stalkers when more Voiders are being built. It's not going to work.
And the Adepts are distracted by the cannon over here, so they're not killing probes. If MaNa was killing probes and making this trade, it'd be better, but oh gosh, these Void Rays, they're just screwing everything.
Yeah, stop. Game. GG.
HellraiseR gets a point on the board.
There it is.
PvP can be real fickle, but that game is totally on MaNa. Like, he's the one who chose to set up for this all-in, and it just backfired on him with a good defense out of HellraiseR. Oh
yeah, it absolutely did. Surprise factor not quite good enough.
I want to imagine, though, that was like for MaNa, a bit of kindness. He's like, oh, that's a shame.
Aww,
let me
like you're like your first game against your kid playing chess, and you're just dominating, so you let them like take a pawn, and then you just kill them after anyway, because you can't lose, of course. You're not that nice. I know, it was very telling of what type of parent I'm going to be.
Well, let's get into the game. Join off you. Man, I keep almost joining other people's games today. I'm like, I already did once, and it's just like, I made the joke to Zombie Group, right? But for those who played WoW, it's like you inspect somebody, but you accidentally invite them to the party. You just Alt F4 immediately. It's kind of what I keep doing. I'm like joining the French casters games, then I accidentally almost joined Stefano's game just now. I need to play Osu. Work on my mouse accuracy is what I need to do.
Yeah. That's what finally, convinces you to play that game. Wanna ready? I've never touched Osu, by the way. Know what it is, never played it.
I actually, Snoot would stream it a lot back in the day, and I would just zone out. I would just sit there in the chair and just watch him, and I'm like, I don't know how he's doing it.
There's like a bunch of really, really, really good Dance Mania champions that hang out in Sinchon in Korea, and if you go down to the arcade, you can watch them just like mesmerizing with their feet, man. Crazy. Yeah,
people go bananas. Like Rifkin, for example, when he beat Zombie Grub at DDR in Toronto.
You did. I'm still gonna blame the boots.
Nothing
I stepped on worked. It was terrible.
Searching for a man all across Japan. All right, in the top left side of the map, we've got the red Protoss Team Liquid's MaNa leading 2-1.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, he is HellraiseR. And am I happy or sad that someone just stole my sad kitten from me?
If they give it a better home, be happy. Cross your fingers. So, something to note here. We've talked about the prize a little bit. It's not that much, but it's still a nice money. $60 for first place, $20 for second. However, it is worth noting points associated with all these things. And with this new season being a fresh slate, nobody's automatically invited to the finals. These points actually mean everything. Oh, shout out to whoever that was. We'll get in a sec. Because right now, the only person guaranteed going through to the Corsair Cup season finals is Keen. Whoever wins this, also going to lock down a slot for the season finals. $400 tournament at the end of the month. But, oh, yeah. Royal Prospecting! Rather! Thank you for the 15 bits. New bit boss, too.
What?
I think this calls for a zombie apocalypse.
Okay, I'll try and get on it.
I've still to win one of these.
I'm not gonna win anything. Not gonna happen.
Man, you got zombie in your name. Just blend in with the zombies.
But I'm literally Zombie Grub, so I'm not giving myself any favor.
Just don't tell them about your last name. Just be like, the name's Zombie.
That's it, just Zombie. I used all my, you know, I was hoarding juice. I had a pretty good win record for my bets and bank heists. That's where I got rich. These fancy new Makarovs, I can't.
I may have just stolen some so I could enter in because I had 0. Sorry.
Maybe there's something I could do back to you.
I'll think of something. You just need to like have mug BaseTradeTV like on copy paste. So the second you see me do it, you mug me back because there's a cooldown, right? So I can't just get it back. So before I can type in like the command to enter.
You know what? I think I'm just gonna let karma do its work because so far you haven't won after stealing from me.
Karma does get me a lot too. It's the worst.
I have so many Makarovs though. I've never kept count. I don't usually participate in everything that everyone's doing. So
it's because you don't keep getting mugged by everybody by being channel owner.
Well, that too. People try and steal from me all the time though. Joke's on them.
Just need to have like a pocket policeman ready to go. Reach in, hands up.
It's like the greeting card, Futurama. Greetings, comrade.
So it's leading the revolution. Okay, so bit of difference in builds here. MaNa, I think, playing it a little bit more what you would expect. The Robo and the Stargate this much earlier out of HellraiseR, though, I don't know, man. I like the Stargate play. I think it's smart, but it didn't work in game 1, and I think that if this is going to lead to the same build, still disruptors, like, it's a good build, but MaNa clearly knew how to deal with it.
Oh yeah, you're right. This is quite similar to that game.
I mean, maybe he doesn't go the direction of disruptors. In fact, he's not. He's going for Void Rays. Okay. That changes it up.
Yeah, it does. No, he's going for Void Rays. It means you won't have as many Immortals. I mean, they both pack a punch to the armored units. It's absolutely true. But, you know, the Void Ray does have that little complication of being super slow now. Which, I don't know. We don't see Void Rays that often, but the times that I've seen them, believe it or not, I feel like every single time I have had to note why that's a big deal. They didn't catch the sentries, they couldn't run away, they couldn't be microed, like a variety of things. That slow on their prismatic alignment has been big.
Oh, gets the Oracle. This is really bad. Not because he needed to do damage with the Oracle. He needed to have Revelations up. He needed to see which angle of engagement these Void Rays could come in from. This was really bad for HellraiseR's the opening, and because of the way Void Rays A cost a lot and B produced slowly, there's no real room to weave in another Oracle into production.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna be kind of blind. I mean, observers can do something, but in PvP, it's actually quite a gamble because they're gonna have their own observer, and yours is gonna die. Like, what's gonna happen? And they can't even really afford sentries because you're going for Immortals and Void Rays, so no Hallucinate Phoenix either. But the point is, HellraiseR's gonna be just, you know, without any idea what's happening in the game. MaNa, he won't even need those. He doesn't need an Oracle or an Observer. He has Blink Stalkers constantly patrolling and poking. Soon enough, as soon as he sees 2 Void Rays this early, he's gonna know that it's similar to last game.
I just found the dirtiest emote combo in our channel.
You saying the chicken did it?
It tells the story, man. Everyone knows that comes out of the car.
To me, it looks like the chicken killed Holy Moly.
I think the gun's representing something else.
See, I'm reading it backwards because that's the only way I can make sense of it. Stalkers did blink in and had to blink out.
Don't you ever read manga, Zombie Grub? Can't you read right to left?
No, that's the point about reading manga. You do read it backwards.
Yeah, this story.
That's what I'm doing. I'm reading it backwards. It looks like the chicken killed Olivia.
Now, the ketchup would have to become after Olivia if that was the case. And it's also not necessarily Olivia, it's just the loot emote.
That's true.
General representation of women who like to have ketchup smothered on them as they... I can't finish this conversation. Void Rays coming out 2 at a time now. Should give HellraiseR a pretty nice amount of damage, but man, MaNa is, I don't think, too much sweating this. He's even going to charge. He's confident he's going to deal with these Void Rays, and I don't know if that's the case. I guess Archons are pretty good with the Templar Archives eventually putting those into production, but I'm still sitting here a little bit tentative and frankly worried. Because he doesn't know that Hellraiser's not attacking, right? Well, I guess he sees the third. Never mind.
Something that deals with the immortals on the ground, too. That's what it is.
Well, that'll be the Archons. They can take care of that. Like, 3 birds, 1 stone, right? 3 birds, 1 Archon.
Kind of. That's a lot of pressure on the Archon, man. They got to get in range of the Void Rays and take out the immortals without dying themselves.
Splash damage, man. Easy peasy.
He also needs a mineral dump, I think. So I'm in the charge.
Yeah, actually, so to bring this full swing, this is actually a more old Korean way to play. PvP, it was really all about charged out Archons and timings for Korea for a long time, while the foreigners were still using disruptors. And it was proven to be so bloody strong that sometimes it could even beat out disruptor play, although often not. What's interesting about this, though, is because Hellraiser's done this wonderfully cool Void Ray army, he doesn't have disruptors. So these Zealots, they don't take much damage from the Void Rays. Archons as well. They're going to get to sit there underneath Void Ray fire for a while. So maybe Hellraiser wipes out the Stalkers, takes out the Immortals. He's still going to have a hell of a time dealing with everything else that MaNa throws at him. You mentioned Mineral Dump. That's the beauty of this. You're going to have a lot of units. MaNa's going to have a lot more units just overall than Hellraiser will. This wall off is... Oh, this is great. I like this a lot, actually.
It's a cool idea. It's going to catch MaNa off guard. You can just blink past it, but whatever. It's more about this fight than it is the other one. A fake Colossus. Why? It's not that fake. You just see it run away.
Mind games. Zealots, of course, burn their charge on the pylons. There's not going to be really anything here to defend. Nexus getting focused. I don't know if it's going to move, but Archon's getting top of the Void Rays. I think it crushed those force fields. Massive units that they be.
I still think there's not enough Archons. The Stalker's got to get in here, finally.
I was going to say, without the Stalkers, you might be right, but I think with the Stalkers, well, there's that prismatic alignment he's been holding back on for so long. But with them prismatically aligned, let's say they kill all of this, they can't move to catch the Zealots. They're speeding, charging Zealots.
There's still going to be so much economic damage done, and MaNa might just be able to get enough of an anti-air force to take care of 6 Void Rays.
He's going to kill the third. 23 probes dead at this point. This is a great attack from MaNa. This is a good way to try and lock down the series, too. Down to 37 probes, 3 bases, well, 2 bases.
I mean, the Void Rays are low and they don't have prismatic alignment, but you still need a... Okay, 6 more. Join the front. That might be enough. If they can micro too. Alright, just gonna tap out.
He knows where he's at. MaNa takes the series 3-1, and he's going to be this week's Corsair Cup champion. Also going to guarantee himself a spot in the season finals. 10 points on his back with that $60 win. Pretty good stuff, MaNa. Pretty good stuff. Today was a really good Corsair Cup, though, and while my expectations are not high enough that I expect to see the same level of signups over and over again, I just want to point out, it's really cool that MaNa won. Shout out to MaNa and all the MaNa fans who enjoy it. But HellraiseR getting this far, an unknown name making it into the finals, the amount of new folks, the new faces, and amateur players we had in the round of 16, round of 32, like, today was like the best Corsair Cup we've had in a long time, and I'm really glad that this happened. So I hope, my fingers are crossed, we get to see more like this in the future. That being said, thank you guys for joining on the stream. I hope you guys had a good time watching. We're back later tonight, right? Is it the Ballistics Brawl?
Yes.
No, you're doing the Ballistics Brawl, then is it Elite League right after, or what's the order for that? Dog, you're doing too much StarCraft. That's going to suck.
I did it last week. No, I do the Ballistics Brawl on Channel Ballistics in like 3 hours, and then the Elima League is in like 14 hours.
Oh, so yeah, okay, that's actually some time to rest. If that's like a, what, 4-hour cast, you get 9 hours to sleep-ish?
Yeah, it's fine.
That's not so bad. Fine, I have no sympathy for you. Get wrecked.
Good, I don't want your sympathy.
You better bring your A game to the Elima League or you're fired.
Oh.
Okay, I actually have to talk to Zombie Rob about some important stuff regarding DreamHack Atlanta. Somebody was asking about this in chat earlier. If we're going, not only are we going, we're hosting a StarCraft tournament. You better come and watch, guys. But big shout outs to Corsair for sponsoring the tournament. Big shout outs to Twitch for powering it up. Thank you guys for watching the show today. Zombie Grub, final words before we go.
Follow me on Twitter at ZG Gaming, on Twitch, Zombie Grub, and YouTube, Zombie Grub. Just uploaded our attempt at the mutation. So I want to check that out. It's there.
Dude, our follower count's getting good. So I'm going to keep plugging it, guys. If you're not following the channel, please do. We're at 82,000 followers now. That's like 2,000 up since last week. Let's keep this train going. The road to 100,000. So hit the follow button at the very least if you enjoyed the show today. Otherwise, maybe consider subscribing, enjoying the show more. You can get some replay packs and other cool things too. But other than that, consider following me on Twitter at Riff_Kings. Definitely follow the BaseTradeTV Twitter to know what's going on. We don't shitpost over there. We strictly post about tournaments. And then, of course, at the top of the page, hit the events page, favorite that shit, bookmark it. That way you know about all the events we have coming up, because they're usually updated there. This month we were a little bit late, and that is entirely on me. But usually the events are usually posted there with weeks in advance notice. So we got a lot coming up for the rest of the month. We want to finish strong. Be sure to join us for the Alima League later tonight. And have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.